We're taking sentences from the book Woman in Black and making to a short story, so please enjoy. I intended to cycle to the next village.
Yes, with the skin stretched over her bones.
As much for my own reassurance.
I ran quickly and lightly over the short stretch of rough grass between the graves.
And indeed, that was the effect we seemed to have at once upon everyone who saw us. That can mean many things.
The door was ajar.
That pony and trap and crying child were not real, I had no shadow of doubt.
For a moment or two,
Every few moments.
I made myself drink.
Do I take it that you're one of them? I'm drunk.
The following morning,
I followed his glance across to the other table.
I began to yell.
Then I let up the blinds.
Today was all bright and clear.
For some obscure reason, I became angry with that door.
If you mean I think I will give up the job I was sent to do, then turn tail and run around.
Then, as it was so bright that it hurt my eyes to go on staring at it.
At least I'll take you out of all this for a day or two.
It's an odd sort of place.
I'd take a step or two.
Or somewhere out in the marsh.
How one old woman.
I sat down on a piece of old moss-covered stone.
But at last I began to be better.
When I told the landlord,
He had plump ones. Is he transgender?
I went to one or the other. What?
I had always known in my heart that the experience will never leave me.
I went out after. I kicked at it.
I followed his glance to the view.
Until I felt I was young again.
That could mean a few things. I look at the bed.
I rubbed at the thin film of grime.
After a few moments, I got up.
For anything other than a day or two.
Some 15 minutes later,
I listened hard.
there was no sound.
I thought it most likely that
It was the cry of desperation or anguish.
the wind had either died down or else it could not be heard.
After 12 days, I was feeling almost completely recovered.
Then I'm sorry, I shall have to miss it.
I have always known,
I should become quite addicted.
but now managing to suspend this acute emotional state. Wait, was she on her period? I mean, 12 days finally recovered? She missed it? She missed it?
Or a quite addicted drug addict. I would drop dead.
Otherwise, I'd rather lie in this lonely spot.
Physically, eventually as it can be.
Not particularly wishing to discuss the nature of my business with him. Someone was getting some.
In the public bar at 11 o'clock. Oh, but it has to be a public bar.
I could hear the noises coming from outside.
And then all I could hear was the mysterious silence.
And he walked in front of me.
I could still not exactly place
His face.
rhyming to belong to my past.
I thanked him.
I kicked him.
However, toward the end of it,
There was no child.
there was no...
There
Through my head went a tumbling confusion.
was no condom. For him to inquire how I had stared at the El Marsh house.
I took one last look,
And went through dreary business.
but at my feet, my dog Spider began to whine.
I wandered around the outside of the house.
For there at the far end, I recognized my traveling companion.
Good God, man.
Hi.
That walk back was a nightmare.
The doctor had been particularly anxious.
Of voices on the other side of that heavy door.
I would not return to the town before dark,
After this, I went outside and took a few turns.
cradling Spider like a child in my arms.
Thanks, you guys, for listening. Byez Guyz.
Byez Guyz.